Anna Goldmark Gross appears to be an utter enigma. The title page of her 1912 The Gnomes of the Saline Mountains claims that she is the author of something called The Whim of Fate, as well as numerous short stories and plays. I could find no single record of The Whim of Fate, nor any of these, quote, numerous stories and plays. Not even catalogues of copyright entries are any help. The closest to a possible match is something called number 355 by a certain Anna G. Gross, registered the same year as Gross's only book in 1912. Some other brief references from the time result in an Anna G. Gross who was recorded as a manager and bookkeeper of an anonymous Fifth Avenue company, and another instance mentioning an Anna J. Gross as teaching in the accounting and merchandising department of the Washington Irving High School. The one clue that this may in fact be the same person, aside from both references relating to the year 1918, is the fact that both come from material related to Barnard College. But there is no definite proof this is the same person as the Anna Goldmark Gross who wrote this book, and also whatever the deuce Whim of Fate was. You'd think, if she contributed to magazines like the book implies, her name would come up in relation to some of them, but Anna J. Gross or A. J. Gross bring in about the same result-wise. The Gnomes of the Saline Mountains, a fantastic narrative, was published in New York in 1912. It is actually a collection of stories, with the title story being only a short novelette. The story begins in 1910 at the Trauensee, surrounded by the Saline Mountains, where a great gathering of people is awaiting the start of the floral regatta. The audience is suddenly shocked by the appearance of a gondola carrying an enchanting beauty dressed as Cleopatra. A slender man observes her from the shore, she waving to him in a friendly manner, but he watches her fervently and glares whenever anyone else's boat comes too close. A fantastically rich, cynical man, he sneers, secure in the wealth coming in from his South African gold mine. Later, atop the quote-unquote Egyptian beauty's ship, she is then seen speaking to her benefactor, a certain Mr. Ogden, a man whom she does not love, but whose devotion she accepts, only because of her longing for wealth and luxury, due to the excessive poverty in which her youth had been spent. She had even abandoned her husband and child upon a chance meeting with Ogden in order to escape poverty. At the same time, her husband is walking around through the forest, making his living as a teacher and sending every groschen he makes to the support of their child. During a storm, he is suddenly beset upon by what seem like gnomes, who proceed to swarm him and whisper scandalous tales of his wife into his ears. Tales he does not wish to believe, but which will lead him to his destiny regardless, to the great delight of the malicious gnomes of the Saline Mountains. There are 3 further melodramatic, romantic stories in the book, but none of them have any supernatural trappings and are fairly typical period work. The Artist is a drama concerning Eugene, a factory worker's son and a painter who is commissioned by Lucy, the daughter of the owner of the company whom Eugene's father used to work for, to paint her a picture. However, Eugene soon falls sick, his father cannot find work, the company meanwhile almost goes bankrupt, Lucy's father dies of a heart attack, she's abandoned by her fiancé because of the family's bankruptcy, and later when the company manages to weather the storm, Lucy marries Eugene after a year of mourning for her father. The Street Singer, a Viennese story, is the story of Christine, a poor Viennese street singer who is met one day by a shoemaker's apprentice named Peter, who gives her a pair of shoes in lieu of money. He walks around town with her, carries her violin, and steals potatoes for her from his mistress's table. Somehow Christine finds her way to the theatre, and is even brought to have a private chat with the Emperor, which begins her opera career. However, poor Peter is not so fortunate. Concetta is the tale of a simple maiden seduced by a nobleman who dies of grief upon seeing him wed another, with her father swearing bloody vengeance before the story just ends. This collection is quite an oddity, and if anything else, the title story deserves a read, due to its bizarre premise.